Hello friends, my channel is often criticized for having a lot of negativity, but unfortunately that's the reality. We try to look for the positive, and in this video there will be only good news from Poland. Let's see how the public institutions of this beautiful country work through good examples. So give a like to support good news, to support aerodynamics. Friends, subscribe to the channel right now. Thank you very much for your support. Yes, literally 15 seconds of useful information. Migrant handbook. If you need to get a residence card, apply for a visa, or exchange your driver's license, or have many other questions, feel free to reach out. I recommend it. I've used it myself. So go ahead, Migrant Handbooks. And if you want a discount, which is always good, grab my promo code for free in the description. With the promo code Lukyanov, you'll get a 20% discount. Now, let's get down to business. Today we'll go over the 5 most interesting and good news stories. That's why you should watch the video until the end. There will be a conclusion on how common sense multiplied by budget funding gives an excellent result right now in the middle of the summer of 2026. Well, sorry for the long introduction, but it couldn't be helped. Here's the first news story. The triumph of Krakow cardiologist. Let's start with medicine. It is often criticized in Poland and sometimes for good reason, but now things have taken a serious turn. At the beginning of July, the National Science Center announced the results of its prestigious competition, and the main triumph went to a team of scientists from the Krakow Specialist Hospital named after John Paul II. The project led by Dr. Katarzyna Holzman surpassed hundreds of competitors and received substantial government funding. But that's great news for them. What about us, right? The Krakow doctors have set their sights on nothing less than radically improving the diagnosis and treatment of severe heart conditions. Namely, if you'll allow me, I'll read it out because I'm not a doctor. Amyloidosis of transthyretin. There you go. In a situation where cardiovascular diseases remain the main killer in developed countries, this grant is not just a line in the scientists' resumes. This is real money that will go toward purchasing high-tech equipment and conducting clinical trials. Polish cardiology has proven that they are not just adopting Western methods, they are creating the treatment standards of the future themselves. When the government invests so specifically in strong scientific schools, the results won't be long in coming. Here, in this tough competition, only 13 applications received funding. Share your thoughts on Polish medicine in the comments. Well, of course, I'd like to be healthy and wealthy, right? It's much better than being poor and sick. Next, the second point. A cultural and urban breakthrough. Krakow is surpassing world capitals, right? We already mentioned Krakow in the first story, but it would be a sin not to mention the news that literally blew up the European tourist rankings. There is an international magazine called Global Traveler, and it announced the results of the prestigious Leisure Lifestyle Awards 2026. Based on surveys of experienced travelers, a list of the best vacation destinations was compiled. But even here, there was quite a sensation. The ancient capital of Poland took the absolute first place in the category of best leisure destination in Europe. Sorry for my English. It left far behind such recognized tourism giants as Seville, Porto, Istanbul, and Lisbon. What does this mean? It means that Poland's long-term strategy of restoring historical monuments, developing infrastructure, and creating a safe, friendly urban environment has indeed produced a tremendous economic impact. Because let me tell you, well, actually, I was recently in Krakow. Krakow is not just an architectural monument. It's a convenient, clean, vibrant metropolis that generates billions in revenue for the treasury through tourism and the service sector. Write in the comments if you think I'm wrong. But this is a classic example of capitalism with a human face, where historical heritage works as an effective business asset. I'll say this. Italy, of course, has a huge number of UNESCO World Heritage sites, but honestly, it's all in such bad shape, especially Rome. Okay, Naples, that's understandable. For me, it's a cesspool, but Rome, my God, such a beautiful city. Why did you cover everything with this stupid graffiti? Calabria, my favorite. With such a postcard perfect sea, why don't they clean up the trash? All right, let's not talk about sore subjects. Let's get back to sunny Poland. Legislation and siesta, a labor revolution during the heat. Although I feel much more relaxed now. Let's move on to public affairs. July of 2026 was quite hot. Well, the end of June, both literally and legally. The National Labor Inspectorate and district agencies, particularly in Bydgoszcz, conducted a series of inspections and briefings that led to changes in Polish labor law. The topic is changing working conditions during the summer heat. Of course, everyone who sits in an office, come on, do you think they're really suffering? But the working class, yes, it's not so easy for them. Social surveys show most citizens want legal guarantees from authorities for protection against extreme crises. And the state machinery responded. Now, the introduction of additional paid breaks, shorter working hours, and most interestingly, officially moving the start of the workday earlier in the morning. All of this is becoming the law everywhere. Employers have been required to adjust schedules to protect people's health. So, friends, let me know in the comments if this has affected you or not. In my opinion, this is an excellent marker of a mature society, because workers are seen not as a powerless resource for squeezing out profit, but as capital. Maybe not the most important capital, but still it needs to be taken care of. So what else do we have? Fourth story, macroeconomics, the iron shield of the National Bank against inflation. While people are hiding in the shade from the July heat behind closed doors at the National Bank of Poland in Warsaw, economic stability was being forged. Let's call it that. On July 8, the Monetary Policy Council, MPC, presented its latest key July macroeconomic projection for inflation and GDP. The summary is brief and confident. The Polish economy is showing healthy growth. According to the latest report, Poland's annual GDP growth in 2026 is highly likely to remain within the range. It's a good range of 3 to 4%. And inflation in July has already been recorded at the ideal target level of 2 to 2.5% year on year. The skeptics' projections, who promised stagnation because of global logistics crises and oil prices, all of that is no longer relevant. Low unemployment and a stable zloty exchange rate allow Polish businesses to confidently plan long-term investments. The government managed to balance domestic consumption and the inflow of European development funds, let's not forget about them, so that the economy wouldn't overheat. What does this mean for ordinary citizens? Your savings are safe, and the country's economic foundation is strong, and it hasn't been like this for quite a long time. To be fair, friends, share your thoughts in the comments. Even among my friends and acquaintances, opinions really vary. Some say they're living paycheck to paycheck with nothing left over. Well, and others say, no, everything's fine, we travel abroad 3 times a year. Write in the comments how things are for you. So, we also have good news, friends. Public health. Everyone is taking care of their lungs. The same is taking care of the lungs of the nation. Now, let's talk about a systematic approach to healthcare at the highest levels of government. In the same, with the support of the Institute of Tuberculosis and Lung Diseases, a campaign aimed at national security has started. Well, obviously, we're talking about healthcare. The country's leading pulmonologist took the parliamentary podium with a concrete program to combat respiratory threats. Summer is a time when all sorts of chronic lung diseases get worse, with allergies to pollen and heat. Well, and Polish doctors use this moment to launch a global system of preventive screening. You just need to show a little interest and use them, because actually in Poland, I can't say there are a lot, but there are quite a few tools that you can and should use for free. As part of, getting back to the topic, new programs supported by deputies, a network of mobile and stationary free lung screening sites for citizens of all ages is being deployed across the country. Professors and officials reached a logical conclusion. A penny invested in early diagnosis in July saves thousands of zlotys that would have to be spent on intensive therapy the following winter. Well, friends, I'll praise Poland now, since people accuse me of being anti-Poland, telling me to give up my passport and saying I don't show respect. No, it's just hard to be a centrist, right? I'm not on the left, I'm not on the right, I look at everything critically. But if we look at this news, it seems like on one hand it's just a standard news feed, but let's try to connect all of this into a single logical chain. That's the goal. Medicine, yes, that's advanced science and technology. The benefits are increased life expectancy, reducing mortality in Krakow, attractiveness, safety, inflow of foreign capital, infrastructure development, labor reform, caring for people in the heat, maintaining productivity, and citizen loyalty. Yes. And the forecast from the National Bank, stability and growth are the foundation for financing medicine and social programs. Plus, this lung health effort is also about mass prevention and reducing the burden on the budget in the long term. In my opinion, there is a certain connection between these news stories. Because a healthy, growing economy, as forecast by the National Bank, gives the government the opportunity to allocate hundreds of thousands or even millions for various grants for cardiologists and preventive programs. That's it. A wealthier and healthier society begins to value comfort and safety, and well, this already brings Polish cities to the top of global rankings. And when a citizen sees that the law protects him even from heat at the workplace, he starts working more efficiently, completing what you could call an ideal cycle of creating national wealth. Of course, Poland is not Norway. Yes, not everything is perfect, but nevertheless, these are the kinds of news stories I picked out, and they're a good example of how society and the state act as a single, well-oiled machine. Perhaps sometimes with pomp, perhaps sometimes with a bit of noise, but still methodically and quite professionally. As Kotel Dobavit would say, that's how we win, right? Well, that's all, but I honestly wish Poland as a country only the best. That's it. Seriously, no jokes. Thank you for your attention, friends. That was the good news. Please like, comment, and take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Hey, greetings to the working class. Tell me what city you're watching from if you made it to the end. That's all for now. See you next time.